It's on now, Josh.
Okay.
This is the new. I've used kid gloves.
Okay. Bring it on, baby.
All right.
Come on. Full Metal Kindler.
People seem to get very upset if I even say on one level. There's two things that get people upset. One is paywall.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
Why don't you get it?
Because
Of
it's a
course.
good idea.
No.
I would pay. If I heard 3 minutes of us meandering on a subject that I wasn't interested in, and then said, in 30 seconds, you must put $4, and I would throw my phone on the pavement.
I'm just sick of hearing about it, frankly.
Okay. And then what was the other thing?
I don't know.
No, they'll say, hey, by the way, this is the earliest time in the podcast I had no idea where we were.
That's good. Well, we haven't officially started, I don't know, have we?
Let's officially start.
Okay.
From the Thought Spiral Studios in downtown anywhere, USA. Welcome. This is a voiceover I would hire. Welcome to Thought Spiral. When your thoughts go spiraling. Is that like a Cosby thing?
It was sort of David Steinberg eating the bones of Bill Cosby, kind of.
Welcome to Thought. Why do they have any kind of fake voice? Anyway, welcome to the show.
I don't know. You're the one doing the voice.
Yeah, but
it's not like there's a script that says, in fake voice, Andy.
Well, are people going with a Don Pardo thing? Is what I want to know.
Which people?
In other words, why do people have to announce anything? Why is it ever announced like this? I get it with the Get Ready to Rumble.
I don't think it is
does.
anymore. I don't think it is anymore.
Well, welcome to Thought Spiral.
Right. Yeah.
If you listen to those NPR shows
it's like
Wait,
Jeopardy
Wait.
from the 60s you're doing.
Go turn on Wait, don't you do, Wait,
Wait, don't entertain me?
Hold it. We're not going to entertain you. Hey, come on. You know what I've always said? It's Saturday. They don't want to get people laughing too hard.
Keep the bar low on a Saturday.
That guy on the Wait, don't tell me.
At least Garrison Keillor is done embarrassing my state now.
Now, you know what the thing is? I like Chris Thiel's.
Yeah.
Chris Thiel, but I just wish you would. I don't want the show. Name it a new show. Why should that schlub Garrison Keillor get money?
There's no reason to keep
Oh, you got to keep that.
Right.
It's like bringing, what was his Tasty Cakes?
Well, but this is also, Car Talk just went off after 5 years of the guy being dead. So
I don't mean to laugh at the guy passing away, even though I laughed immediately when you said he's been dead for 5 years.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But it was an uncomfortable Jew response to death, I think, is what that was.
Which, this was Ben and Jerry's podcast, right? Where they would... that cracked me up for a second to think of them as...
Flavors of cars.
But were they really named Click and Clack?
No.
Well, who's Click and Clack?
No, they were Click and Clack, but they weren't really named that.
Well, who would name it? Would they go, is this question for Click or is this question for Clack?
No, I think one of them was Click and one of them was Clack under the Click and Clack paradigm, but I don't think their business cards didn't say Click and Clack.
I listened to a little of our podcast only because I was trying to use it for something else. Yeah. And my expectation before we did the podcast, would be that you would be a person who would be able to tell me facts when things came up. I don't get that from the thing. I don't get that, well, Andy, you should know this, or or this started then. Nothing.
Right. So, and that was the paradigm you thought would be great for the podcast?
It would be nice.
I'll say stuff and he'll correct me. I think we got something here.
It would be nice if one of us was smart.
It would be nice, but that's not what we've set up. That's not the field we're playing on.
I assumed you would be erudite.
Uh-huh.
I assumed you would be incisive.
Yes.
And that you would constantly, as if right here in our house, who's the guy who wrote the book? On the last book on comedy?
Nesterov?
Yeah, as if, boom, we had
like
a walking
that?
and talking.
You mean just like that when you went, what's the thing? And I went, here's the thing. And you went, yes, that thing.
Joey Nelson, Joey Levy, Joey this thing. I thought you would be smarter than you are.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Now, here's my new thing, too. I want to have a...
random abuse? That's your thing?
No, adversarial relationship.
Okay, yeah.
I noticed.
Most comedy comes from that. Asshole.
Well, you're supposed to like build up to it.
Oh,
fuck face.
Shit.
Hey, you doing good, Josh? What did you decide? I won't bring my humor to the podcast. No, but I noticed before the show, before we started rolling, that you were getting annoyed by me, and I started to feel
that you're anxious. I think is what's happening.
I know, but I like
you're
it.
Reverting back to your old.
Yeah, but it gets you going.
Everyone's against me.
Yeah, but the thing I like about it is it gets you going, because normally I come here and I say, "You ready to go, Josh?" Like, I didn't have my coffee. My coffee till 5:30. You were supposed to be here at 9. It's 9:10. Deal with it. Deal with it, Josh. I've got OCD.
I'm sorry I'm late.
I know. People love my boilerplate apology for being 10 minutes late. Oh, good evening. Sorry I'm late. Let's get over to the table.
Right. Let's not discuss the fact that I'm habitually late.
Yes, I am being unkind to you. The worst was when I was in a comedy duo. I was in the comedy duo of Andy and Bill.
Yeah.
A lot of people know my early career, but not as much as you would think, Josh.
No, I don't know it at all.
Again, if you had been... First of all, I brought so much to this goddamn table, I can't believe we're splitting it 50-50. We're splitting this 50-50?
Yeah.
And Brazil, Showbiz Studios gets a taste.
He gets to wet his beak, too.
He gets to wet his beak, too? I was in a comedy duo, the comedy duo of Andy and Bill.
Yeah.
And it was a woman who used to manage Mac and Jamie, which is a name that you should know.
Yeah.
You do know it, right?
Yeah.
But no one listening to this knows that they were a comedy team.
They were the successful team that your manager
That's exactly
represented?
right.
Okay.
She used to work at Igby's. Her name was Chrissy. She was British. That's all I remember. That's not all I remember, but I always remember when someone's British. And she said, look, don't name it Andy and Bill. Do not name it Andy and Bill.
Right. She was right.
Well, but we were like, oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
She goes, look, Mac and Jamie. I manage Mac and Jamie. They can't change that name now.
Right.
But I still couldn't. I don't think that's why we failed.
No, I don't think so either.
So I was in a duo called Andy and Bill, and it was with my old friend Bill Kaufman, who's now a therapist, who I love dearly.
Yeah.
He was a therapist. We both worked at University Stereo, selling stereos in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to go through every one of those anecdotes, but I will say that it was all because of Bill Kaufman that America can thank Bill Kaufman for the fact that I'm a comedian. Because we were at a company picnic.
Thanks, Bill Kaufman.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what they want to see. They want to see a little Martin and Lewis with the anger on the air.
Right. Yeah. No,
Not
they
behind
hate
the
each other
scenes.
backstage and on stage. That's good.
I would have much preferred if Martin and Lewis was just Dean Martin yelling at Jerry Lewis for what an idiot he was acting like.
Right. But
Why
not,
are you?
But, not, but Jerry wouldn't be in character.
He wouldn't be doing any of those horrible bits from Martin and Lewis.
Right.
That's for sure. Name me one of your favorite Martin and Lewis bits.
My favorite is Flyman. No, Jerry, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the Flyman. No, Jerry, come on down. With the Flyman.
Remember the time? I don't know if you remember this, but when they had the baby on, the famous celebrity baby.
I'm good with the baby. I can't get the baby to stop crying. I'm with the baby. Now I'm drinking a glass of water. Hey, pretty lady, baby.
You do a good Jerry, too. You are, I'm telling you, this is what you should be more doing on the show. Operating the sound effects.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I'm trying to get you upset. Oh,
That
that's
was me
good.
cranking up
Just
my
cranked
middle
up the
finger.
middle finger. I mean, what are you, 4? I have my own. Do you need me to turn it up? That's also good. Also, can you read between the lines? Still works.
That's also a classic.
Okay, but that was great impression there of Jerry Lewis.
Thank you.
That's funnier than Martin. Now, here's the thing. I know that I'm guilty of not knowing what I'm talking about. So I have to admit that I haven't seen a lot of Martin and Lewis, and I think Dean Martin's great.
My mom saw them live in Minneapolis.
What'd you think?
She, at the time when she was like 10, she was thrilled beyond belief.
Right, but I'm saying was that, in the will this hold up field, which I think is an overrated field because it makes you.
Well, it holds up in the sense that we're talking about it in 2017, and they broke up in 59 or something.
Right, and I think Jerry Lewis, like in King of Comedy, and at various times, I am laughing at him, but he is hilarious at certain times. But I don't understand the Martin and Lewis thing. I understand the Martin thing, but I don't think I've seen enough of it. I think if I saw enough of the classics.
I think you really have to think Jerry Lewis acting like he's 8 is funny. I just think if you can't buy in there.
Well, you have to.
And I don't. I never have. I've never thought he was funny.
On a certain level, I do buy it because I wouldn't be wouldn't be saying things like, let's make a left on Doheny.
Yeah, no, but
got my glasses at frame and lens.
But we're abstracting it the same way we do Cosby at this point, too.
Well, David Feldman does a famous bit where he will say that Jerry Lewis gets his glasses at Frame and Lens. He won't say it as
See,
Jerry.
That's double meta.
Left on Doheny.
Right. I have a gig in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Well, you told me before the
It's
podcast.
like when Foster Brooks, he initially came
really
from
drinking?
Buffalo.
Oh. Okay, what did he do?
He came from Buffalo.
How's that go? That's one of the jokes, right? I went from Bull. Or is that the other guy with the eyeballs?
Damn it, Andy.
I went to Bull.
I'm from just outside of Rochester.
I never heard that.
Yes,
joke.
you did on like 3 podcasts.
I'm outside of Bull. I'm outside of Bull.
Oh, my God.
No. I'm from Bull. I'm from Bull.
Yes.
Why would being drunk stop you from saying the word buffalo? I would think it'd be an easier word for you to say.
Then just outside of Rochester?
That's...
I love that I can do stuff from earlier podcasts and make you laugh as if it's fresh.
I can't believe you're going to get on me for not remembering the specific
Come
joke.
on. That was a little big. That was kind of big. Just outside of Rochester. Huh? Remember that? Anything? Ring a bell? Nothing?
That does ring a bell now. I hope you're happy
Welcome
that
to
it rings a bell.
a very snippy episode of
I
Thoughts
hate when
Spiral.
people. Do you hate when people do this? I don't know if they still do this.
Probably.
They lick their finger and they go, "That's one." What does that even mean? That's one for
I don't
you.
know. Let's check in episode 8 when you asked.
I did.
Yes.
Jesus Christ! Is this what you're going to hold me to? All new material? What am I, Louis C.K.? I never repeat my podcast material. Louis C.K. He never repeats anything as a podcast
Can we at
guest.
least have like a 10-episode rule before recycling?
All right, now look. Recycling is not what I'm doing.
No.
My doing is forgetting the past.
It's reoccurring to you.
I don't know why I smacked
It
my
is.
lips.
It does kind of suck that you don't get a fresh audience for each podcast, doesn't it?
We do, because we don't get any
That's true.
repeats.
That's true.
We do. It's a new with us. It's a new 14 people every week.
Oh God! But welcome aboard, the Dirty Dozen plus 2 alternates.
I told you to soft sell how well we're doing from the podcast,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we are doing well.
We are. Oh,
You
God,
should see
yeah.
my road gigs now.
Yeah,
Normally I would bring in like
twice the people, so it's half full now.
Nah, I was going to do a similar joke to that.
Oh, but it was going to take longer, right?
Are you the evil voice in my head?
That's what I'm aspiring to be.
So I started out with Bill in a duo, but I never want to. And we had some fun bits. We did a takeoff on Dr. David Viscott. Remember Dr. David Viscott?
Yes, I do.
Well, I called him Dr. David.
Uh-huh.
And Bill would stand behind a curtain. Did we talk about this too?
Yes, we did.
Okay, forget it. All right, so we talked about the whole beginning of the duo.
We talked about the David Viscott bit.
Okay, so now you know what I shouldn't do right now?
What?
Repeat that bit.
Right.
But Bill convinced me to do comedy, and I never wanted to do it. And the other thing I never wanted to do is to work on an act. That was the worst part of being in a duo.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst.
Because I am bad on my own, motivating myself.
Right.
Bill would also admit that on his own. But Bill was like a taskmaster with get here on time, and I was late it was so passive aggressive. I was late every single rehearsal. You know
Wow,
why?
That is weird. What is that like?
But no, worse than 10 minutes.
Okay.
And do you know why?
Why?
Because I didn't want to go to the rehearsal.
Understood.
Here, I'm
My
10
wife
minutes
is
late
like-
because I want to come.
My
here.
wife is always late when she doesn't want to go to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was nervous. No, but I mean, we had fun doing the thing, but he yelled at me once because
Did
when you call up at the time of the appointment,
Right.
I'm
good.
running late.
Yeah.
And so and he yelled at me, and I, of course, got defensive and yelled at him because that's how I rolled.
Right. Yeah, you came in firing full guns before I said shit tonight.
Now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You are the what's it called? Are you the person who remembers everything in the podcast?
Of the two of us, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Did I tell the story about just taking a little bit of LSD for a Halloween party with Bill?
No. You told a couple other LSD stories, but not that one.
Not that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had this government.
Not that one, Hunter Thompson.
I had this guy who sold me LSD that he said he had gotten from the government or whatever from the government tests in the 60s.
Yeah.
And there were these little white barrels. It was the strongest LSD I've ever heard about, I've ever seen. And so I thought, it'd make Halloween fun. I'll take a little bit of the acid, just like the tiniest bit of this one barrel.
Like lick it?
Like lick it, but maybe just a little peeled off.
Yeah.
And I got so dangerously high that the rest of the night was crazy. But I used to dress as the lounge singer. That was my
go-to.
That was my go-to.
Costume?
I'd have a Mr. Microphone, and I would do like a Bill Murray-ish type thing.
Sure.
So I get to his house. I'm scared to death. I can barely. By the time I get to his house, it's like boom. It's like Magical Mystery Tour when you look out the other side of the thing.
Right.
So then I couldn't go anywhere, and we had to cancel where I was going. And finally, after about 3 hours, I started to calm down, and we went to a supermarket across the street to get. I said, "I'll get a little wine." We didn't go to the party. We ended up going to the party, but not by then. So I'm walking back to his house with the wine, and I'm just starting to feel good, and I say, I'm looking at the bottle, and I say, "Oh my God, I can see things in there." And he goes, "Should we return it?" He wanted to return it. My friend loves cake bread, but he's seeing things in there, regardless of whether they're hallucinations. So then we finally went to the party.
It's a nice choice, by the way, cake bread.
I know. In fact, that is the first night I'd ever drank cake bread cellars.
They make a nice Chardonnay.
They make nice. I think they do everything pretty damn good over there. So finally, 6 hours later, we went to the party. Finally, and but I was still so introverted from being too high that people would say, "What's your character?" I go, "Lounge singer." And Bill had 2 socks underneath a shirt to be the football player.
And he's the one who got laid.
No, neither one of us. We were terrible with women. One time, Bill and I, we would go out with the Wolf Pack. We went to this place called 2 Drops O' Scotch.
Yeah.
And we were so desperately single men. We asked, I think these women were 90 or 100 years old. And we deserved what we got. We were like, you know what? We'll give them a break. We'll give them a break now. Hey, ladies, would you like to dance? No, we would not like to dance. I'm in assisted living, and I don't want to dance with you, right. The one lady said. But we never did
I'm not risking my hip for you.
Well, Bill was always trying to get over. I was more, we were always like sweaty single guys. But he says to this woman that night, here was his line, "Oh, she was dressed like a Hawaiian." He goes, "Oh, have you been to Hawaii?" And she goes, "Yes." He goes, "What island would you recommend for me?"
What?
That was his idea of chatting up a girl at a party.
Yeah.
"Oh, you've been to Hawaii? What island would you recommend for me?"
Okay, what island? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, well, so it was you were prevented by the fact that you couldn't hear me.
Yes. That's what kept back the torrent of laughter.
Oh my God, you have a cutting edge tonight. Oh, you're full of beans.
You came in with a whetstone.
What does that mean exactly?
It's something you sharpen a knife on. Yeah.
Is it a wet stone?
WHET.
Okay. I have a thing that I hold.
WHET is really how you should have said that.
Yeah, this is what I was going to hope that you would be like in every aspect of the podcast.
Okay. If you're looking for a little more know-it-allism, I have that gear.
Somebody in the podcast has to be.
Well, actually.
I think you did that very well.
Thank you.
Actually, you're not quite right. You're almost right.
Let me explain it to you.
So what else?
So how's your writing going for the big speech?
Well, it's going. This is the year that I had told myself I'd be done by now.
Right.
And
that's total bullshit, of course. For anyone, not just someone
that
paralyzed
is total.
with OCD
That's a lie to
stuff.
yourself, no matter who's doing it.
If you're a creative person and there's a deadline available,
yeah,
that's what you're going to be using as your motivation.
No, I'm more.
I know that because I spent all day not getting shit done, being self-employed.
Right, and then how much did you prepare for the podcast tonight?
I got not shit done, being self-employed. It went across the board. It went from documentary all the way across to podcast.
So across the board today. See, why do I think that you're more together than me? Okay, I know you are more together than me.
Yeah.
All right. But now I'm thinking that's not a high bar.
It's not that high a bar. I don't know why. I don't know. I think it's just because I'm calm. I think that's the only reason I think you think my shit's together.
Well, your wife told me once, and I've never gotten this out of my head, so if you want to take it out of the podcast, you can. And no, it's not about the problems with your penis. She said that you have a really good mind for money, like how to, when you have money, you're not rich. Don't get anybody wrong. Don't come hawking you, but that you have a good mind for money.
I don't know. I mean, I've quilted together a life for 30 years of show business, so I'm doing okay.
Do you think you got some of that from your dad?
No. Not at all. My dad just didn't give a shit. My dad was...
so his accounting... He was an accountant?
No, he was a lawyer.
Okay, he was a lawyer. But didn't he... What kind of law was it?
He was a litigator.
Oh, okay. And did he enjoy that?
He did.
He did enjoy it. But didn't necessarily... You don't think of yourself as having a lawyer's mind from him.
I have more of a lawyer's mind than an accountant's mind, certainly.
Right. Why would I say accountant?
I don't know, because you're scrolling through the Jew list, I think.
This is the worst thing. I'm going stereotypical.
Your father was an entertainer, right? He was a rabbi, right? He was a cantor, wasn't he? He was an accountant.
No, he's a plumber.
No.
See, that's it. No, my dad was a plumber.
Your dad was a plumbing supplies salesman.
Well, that's what he told me to make it sound better.
Okay.
My grandfather was a plumber. Pretty much, that's what he did.
Yeah.
And was scared of nothing. He would just look at a rat and nothing scared him at all.
Yeah.
But when my father updated the business, my grandfather, according to my father, was not very, he would get on the phone, hello. They had like 5 lines.
Yeah.
Now they have no line. Hello. So he was a plumber. My father was a contractor, right?
Uh-huh.
Jack Ruby, I never heard this until I heard Lenny Bruce say, now in Texas, a Jew is a tailor. I never thought about that, but that does make sense.
Yeah.
That Jews would be tailors at certain points.
That was one of the entry jobs, for sure.
Now, do you know, are we in the middle of something?
Hard to say. I haven't heard the back end yet.
No, well, what did I start with?
I think the last touchstone I remember is my wife telling you I was good with money.
Oh, okay. So not only did I derogate you, which is another word, no. I derogated you with the Jewish stereotype. I went with a lower stereotype, like, oh, your father was just an accountant. So, yes. So I was derogate. I just want to say derogated.
You keep saying the non-existent word over and over and over.
I think it is a real word.
No, derogated?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
To speak negatively about, tear down
denigrate,
something.
You mean?
Not denigrate. It's a different word from denigrate.
Okay.
But here's the thing, Josh. And I know that the last thing this podcast needs is for us to step down and look up stuff.
I don't know, but you've designated me the know-it-all and corrector, the grand corrector of you, and I'm going to say the word you're looking for is denigrate.
I know that. Well, look, I'm not some guy who dropped off of a vocabulary truck. I know words, my friend. First of all, I'm a middle-class Jew.
Yeah.
So all of the tests...
Son of a contractor.
Son of a contractor. See? He wasn't probably a contractor now. Now I have to see what he was. Okay. I, again, forgot what I was going to say. God damn it. It's happening a lot. And if anybody knows what's wrong with me... Because people think I'm doing this on purpose.
No, I don't think they do.
The fact is that there is a word called derogate.
Okay, probably.
But... I don't know for a fact.
All right, let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
All right.
Now, while you're looking it
There's
up...
probably the word, but I don't know why you'd need it when you have denigrate for what you're talking about.
Oh, so now even if I'm right that there is a word...
Well, let's see how
derogate,
close you were.
That means I'm going to be put down? I think I'm not right. From the look on your face, it is D-E-R-R-O-G-A-T-E.
No, there is a D-E-R-O, one R.
Yeah.
Derogate.
That's what I meant,
Okay.
obviously.
Distract from. So while it doesn't mean what you thought, it is relevant.
This is exactly what I do with words my whole life.
This does not derogate from his duty to act honestly and faithfully.
Oh, what is
or
that?
Distract from or deviate from are the two.
I always thought it was like denigrate.
No,
so
it's
I had
not.
heard the word from my father, because that was his shtick.
Yeah.
Let me make the kids
Your
feel
father
bad.
was Norm Crosby the plumber?
No, No, my father had a very high vocabulary.
Yeah.
So he was a very bright man. Don't start with me on my dad. Oh, Josh. Where were we? I was in the middle of a topic. You were in the middle of a
It
topic.
all started, we started again. It started with my wife saying I was good with money. Your dad, we got to him using words wrong, and then it passed it on to his son.
Well, why don't you have any institutional memory of what we've said?
I do. I remember all the times you said the stories you did on previous podcasts.
So all you're doing is sitting here hoping I won't launch into another one of my stories.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let's go along with the what have I been doing, my speech, because everything really is about me on a certain level. You agreed to that on the contract.
That was that. Yeah, I mean that was like.
Whatever narcissism exists in the relationship between these two
will be maintained on air at all times, yes.
Because it's considered an act of God. Is why. Well, what I was going to talk about, you talked about the speech. So now I watched I'm Dying Up Here. Now, I have mixed feelings about the show. Sometimes I think it's... sometimes I actually like the show because it reminds me of when I went to a Halloween party as 70s guy. Now, can anybody guess before Josh tells you why I sounded very stilted there? Okay, Josh, explain it.
Because I wrote that joke.
Right, he wrote that joke. He, for some reason, he's actually said to me, hey, I wouldn't mind writing some stuff.
No, that's not what I said.
No, you wouldn't mind. What did you say?
I said, hey, I thought of a few lines and gave them to you, and I said, if you want more lines, let me know.
That's what I'm talking about. You enjoy it.
But it wasn't like I was like angling for a gig.
No, you don't want a gig.
I said it. I wouldn't mind writing some stuff.
Oh, well, that's because every story has to
I
make it.
I offered to help you, is what I
Josh
did.
came over to me. He was on his knees.
Yes,
He said, oh, great one.
Let me in.
Oh, great one. I even... may I deign to even ask you? Please let me write.
Let me in on year 21 of this career-elevating gold mine.
Well, I wouldn't say elevating, only because it hasn't.
Thus my sarcasm.
I said in a tweet, and my friend actually texted me to say how much he enjoyed the line.
Yeah.
Because he's a comic. It's Joe DeRosa.
Uh-huh.
Who will slam me on... He'll slam me. He said, I'm going to slam you on Twitter. We've already agreed that he's going to slam me.
Okay.
But then he still checks to make sure I'm not upset.
Right. Which is smart, really.
So
I've gotten the day 2 backlash on some big tags before.
I said to him, all kidding aside, it wasn't a reply. He said, Andy, I did your act last night, and I killed with it. Why doesn't it kill when you do it, right?
I saw that, yes.
Okay, so I said to him, all kidding aside, and then parentheses, your specialty.
Burn. Twitter burn.
You have to admit that's clever, Josh.
It was very clever.
It's very clever.
It was very mean-spirited and hilarious.
Just like my joke, I don't think the show Laughing holds up. In fact, as you watch it, the TV slides down the wall. Is it my delivery that's bad?
No, it's the whole thing.
No, I don't think you're right.
I do.
You know, a lot of times you reject my stuff because you don't perform for as hip people as I do.
This is true.
Is that a Camel non-filter laugh?
It was sort of Selma Diamond-ish.
All right, so I watched I'm Dying Up Here.
Okay, yeah, me too.
And here's my first... okay, well, I had to actually fast... I like the show. It's the worst of shows. It's the best of shows. And it's got... friends of mine are on it, and they're fantastic. So, and I want to watch it every week. But
I'm still on the happy side of the hate watch spectrum, but
right.
I'm like right up against the line.
Right. And I'll watch it for another 30 years.
Sure.
Because I'm just compelled to watch it. But here's what I accept. I accept that when the handsome comic... By the way...
Who are you considering the handsome comic, by the way?
The guy who's on heroin.
Okay.
But this is the guy who comes back and says to Goldie, give me a fifth chance. He's like a...
Oh, okay.
Right. So he does stand up. I don't understand I can't get what's funny. I don't get anything... It's like, I don't even want to make...
See, this is the problem with every stand-up thing.
Right.
Is you have to believe the audience of extras as to whether this comic you're supposed to think this comic is funny or not. The material itself is never going to come through as material. So you just have to believe whatever the stage direction says the audience responds. So if the audience is laughing in an unnatural but very big way,
then
they're killing. And if the audience is uncharacteristically and never happens exactly like that silent, you know things are going really poorly.
Well, I would say It's a very hard thing to do, and now I think it's impossible to do. Maybe it's an impossible thing.
Well, it is impossible. What it hurts in the whole show is that you're never because none of these comics are ever truly making you laugh. You're never rooting for them to succeed. It's not like you have a favorite comic in the show going, that one's the funny one, because none of them are making you laugh, so you're never rooting for them. So now you have to root for the club owner, who's the only one who's not doing bad stand-up.
Well, you're
rooting for a club owner.
But she's doing bad stand-up in her shtick.
She's doing...
Yeah. You'll get a spot when the list is thrown in the gutter. Like, I didn't even understand what she's saying.
It's a little hard.
Oh, why don't you go to
a little hard boiled?
Why don't you go to a deli then? Oh, you want to go to a deli?
She's like
Mitzi.
Jenna Rollins in Gloria.
I did not see that.
Did you ever see the movie with Jenna Rollins? Where
I told you so many times
she's protecting
that I haven't seen a lot of things.
Jenna Rollins is protecting the a 7-year-old Puerto Rican boy.
Okay.
You've never seen it?
No.
From the mob, he's protecting. And they're running
How
around.
would I have even?
I like you, Gloria, because you're tough.
Who's this?
This is the 7-year-old Puerto Rican boy.
You are not the man. I am the man. You are not the man.
So was that a comedy or was that?
No, it was a hard-boiled 70s New York gritty.
But still, the little kid at that age would be aware enough to say, "You're the man."
You are not the man. I am the man, is what he's saying. He's 7 years old, and he's.
How did it sound?
Life has dealt him a hard hand.
But still,
so at 7, he's used to being
the man. You are not the man. I am the man.
Did she play along with him and make him feel like a man?
No.
But wait
I think she grabbed him by the arm and and
you'll listen to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
See, in those movies, you could put soap in kids' mouths.
She was tough, like a comedy club owner. That Gloria.
Hey, you want to go? You want to go to a deli to comedy? Here's a sandwich.
Yeah.
That's the way her character is.
You might as well buy yourself some tongue because you're not getting any here. No, I don't know what that means.
Well, all I know is that I think that it's like a prank, God's prank against me, is to constantly show movies where people are doing stand-up just so it's the profession I'm in, so it can't be more frustrating. Whether it's, I hate to burst your bubble, Dustin Hoffman was not exactly like Lenny Bruce.
No, he was not.
And I think, because he would try the hardest, because I love his acting.
Right.
To me, he was like one of my favorites when I was growing up. You could see that he would, if he can't do it, no actor can do it. Right?
Probably.
Not only can no actor do it, Jim Carrey can't do another comedian.
Right. Also true. You can't. Yeah. I mean, you can't fake stand up.
And then so that was it. Then there was Punchline, who I love Tom Hanks, but that's not what the Punchline is not where Sally Field gets to become a brilliant comic from a hack in a 2-hour trip around the city.
All right.
So I think it's a plot against God, from God, to torture me, because this guy who's in this show, he might be the funniest guy in the world. I can't see his face because he's got the beard. What was it with the 70s?
Well, the time it works is like when it's actually the comic. Like, when Louis C.K. puts his stand-up in his show, that stand-up tends to work.
Yes.
And you can recognize, oh, that's actual material. That's funny.
You know what else is good? Like a Dave Attell special. It's also a nice way to make fun up.
Yeah.
Stand-up look good.
But I think that's dying now.
I can't see that guy. Did you see Serpico? We all have.
Yes.
A great movie.
Yeah.
You know why Serpico?
It's no Gloria.
You are not the man, Serpico. I'm the man.
You know, it sounds like that movie that I didn't see till recently. Al Pacino plays the drug guy.
Scarface?
Yeah, I had never seen that until playing.
Another thing I knew.
So, like in the movie Serpico, he starts out, he's clean-shaven. You get an idea of who he is.
Yeah.
The lead of this show, I can't see his face, Josh.
That is such an old man complaint. It is such an
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt about and there's nothing that
George Carlin had a beard the whole 70s.
Right. Okay, don't go by what I say, but the people who knew George Carlin, they already knew him.
Here's the thing about that character.
Yeah. It's not the beard?
It's not the beard that's making you not feel him.
Well, I don't even think the guy who got hit by the bus was that funny that I could tell.
No. See, no one's funny. But if you but then again, watch a bunch of sets from the early 70s.
Well, that I know that there was bad comedy back then, but there also was a comedy incredible thing with Letterman and Pryor and all these people.
Yeah.
And in this show, they have not Richard Pryor is in the show.
Not Richard
the person
Pryor.
who isn't Richard Pryor.
Yes.
And I can't even criticize the guy's acting because how could you play Richard Pryor? You can't play Richard Pryor.
You can't. However, it would be better if you didn't say things like "That's my time" because Richard Pryor never said that.
that I couldn't believe. Well, thank you. That's been my time.
Yeah, I don't think Richard Pryor ever ended a set like that.
No.
Nor did he ever ask a young comic to do his material for him at a booth.
Yeah. Then it's like I can imagine him saying very strange things to Richard Pryor when he got high or something.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine him going, all right, give it to me. He would not care about that young kid at that point. Every episode, this stuff like, oh, that's good. Like Eric Griffin, he rips up the bar. That was fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know where. But it's the serious parts I like, except for the.
Well, because that's the only part that rings true. I mean, the human emotion rings true. The comedy stuff is all secondhand.
Well, all these speeches that they have, and I look, God bless them. And they say it's the worst when you do that. When they go, we do for 15 minutes a night. We live like kings, but during the day. We wait. I mean, that's not that bad. Right. But they had this thing like, one shows, should I do a gig for $200? Is this right? Yes, of course. No comic ever said, should I not go to Seal Beach and do Pedro's Grill?
Yeah.
That was actually on Hillhurst. Should I not do a bad gig? Who thinks of that? Who goes through this existential life or death things once they've already decided to become a comic?
Right.
I am insensitive.
And there's no comedy clubs in America at the time.
But anyway, is there anything else I wanted to cover in that? First of all, I've never heard more dick jokes in my entire life. There couldn't have been that many dick jokes in the 70s.
There's been dick jokes, I think, for longer than since the 70s.
That's right, but they're making it like it's a breakthrough, kind of.
Right.
And that they bust their balls.
That's the thing. I mean, the hanging out is really not that's not how comics hang out. It's just constantly busting each other's balls.
Yeah, you're an ugly man
sentence.
or whatever. I mean, nobody wants
the
that.
reason is because comics are hugely thin-skinned creatures, and you don't and if you keep making fun of them and belittling them, they start building up giant boiling pots of resentment towards you.
Well, of course.
So you save it. Save it for the really good ones.
Well, and of course that's why I've endeared myself to so many comics.
Right. Also, if you've been listening to this podcast, it's a little hard to stand on saying that comics don't bust each other's balls.
Well, but we know each other. I mean, we should have written one of those scripts.
Yeah.
We should have written that he eats the chicken wings. I will watch. It does seem like it's flip-flopped, and every premise of every show is you have to be a comedian. But I will watch any show that's involved with stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I think I'm lying because I remember I used to love watching bad stand-up comedy on all the cable shows. Because they had the Evening at the Improv, then they had Comedy on the Road with John Biner.
Which I was on.
I was on too.
Were you?
Who was your guest host?
No one, John Biner.
See, I had a guest host.
With Comedy on the Road with John Biner?
It's a pitcher for the Oakland Raiders.
A pitcher for the Oakland Raiders. Let's stop and examine the pitcher for the Oakland Raiders.
No, hold on a second. Excuse me, Alex. Alex, can I change my answer? For the Oakland Athletics.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was on the team, Dave
Commonly
Stewart.
known as the A's, yes.
Is it Dave Stewart?
Dave Stewart was,
He was the host. Wow, funniest guy I've ever met.
Didn't he have like a sort of a high-pitched Mike Tyson-y kind of voice?
First of all, it already makes you look like a racist to immediately go from one black person to another black person.
But didn't he have like a high-pitched Mike Tyson-y kind of voice?
I don't know, but the main thing that I wanted to accomplish in that little exchange was to make you feel less than.
Right, but I don't. I still maintain my question. Didn't he have a high voice? Well,
that's why you burned me. But what I would do then is to spend the whole next week on Twitter. Look, Josh means well.
Right.
You have to understand where he comes from.
Right. He's a bigot.
Bah! Bah! You're a bigot! Bah!
Is that what they say? What do they say online?
That's you on Twitter.
What?
You're a bigot! Bah! Bah!
How long have you been cooking up this little slam for?
No, it just came out naturally.
Bah! Bah! You're a bigot! Bah!
Oh, but you know what? when you say it, I start to get upset about it again. The bigotry.
All the hatred out there that you're going to solve.
Let me just ask you one question, Mr. Big Shot.
Yeah.
If they were saying online, instead of Muslims, if every time it was Jews, since their argument basically is that all religion is bad, these people are saying that.
Right.
Would they be able to get away with saying it about Jews even?
I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I continue annoying people. That's why I engage robots. For that reason. I'm fighting you know what? I'm fighting the bad fight. I care.
No, you're fighting the good fight badly.
Yes, I'm fighting the good fight badly.
Yes.
I care.
And I understand that, and that's why I still love you. And I don't dismiss you.
Here's the thing about it. Let's say we separate. Let's separate two things.
Okay.
One thing is, do you want to look at someone tweet that all day and night? Obviously, nobody who could take it.
Right.
Right. So I know it's annoying. I know when I'm being annoying, I'm annoying. So I really can't even argue that much on that.
Right.
But what I will argue about is I still can't believe it. I guess I'm surprised, and I didn't realize it. People's aggression towards religion and their aggression towards whatever it is they don't understand, and this has been going on forever. This was going on when Polish people came here, when Chinese people came here.
Right.
This is always bad when this goes on. So when you have like these like pseudo intellectual people,
right.
That's like, like Sam Harris types,
right.
And people, I don't understand what the appeal is. I feel they're more dangerous in a way because people think, oh, it's logical. It's logical. Right. I don't know why they sound like Seinfeld.
Right.
So.
No, and and again, good fight badly.
Right.
I to me, it's, first of all, I never gravitate towards the enraging, so.
So I'm better than you, Andy. I don't get enraged. I'm Josh Weinstein. Oh, excuse me. It's Weinstein. It's not Wein.
You've gotten enraged when someone mispronounced your name.
You know what?
You're a bigot. Bah! Bah! You're a bigot. Bah! You and your stupid bigotry. Bah!
You want to hear my impression of you?
Yeah, I just did. I just heard your impression of me.
No, but I've improved it.
You've updated. Okay.
Yeah. I'm Josh Weinstein. Yeah. Sure. Well, I sound this way because I'm just slightly more well-adjusted than you.
Well, at least now you have an aspirational voice to work towards.
But this is my image of you, is that you're lording it over, that you wouldn't be a troll like me.
I guess I am, in a way.
Yeah.
I guess I am.
Yeah. No thanks. How does that help me?
I just feel like nothing is ever litigated on Twitter, and no one has ever tweeted their way out of trouble.
All right, that's true. Look, we hope I avoid some kind of a thing where everything comes crashing down on me, and that's perfectly. One time,
like I would love to read your a thing about new atheists, for a column or something. Like I'd love to read like a collection of your well thought out thoughts on it,
right?
As opposed to you're a bigot.
My friend Ken Berger, hi Ken Berger, he is also pointed out.
Is that the shout out, the official sanctioned shout out?
Well, he didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
Whereas
Andy
Levy, I can't tell you how many times Andy Levy literally texted me 15 times today.
Did he? Did he hear his shout out?
He said no. Wanting another shout out.
Really? It's like crack.
How are you buying my acting? I've never seen anyone. No one's ever bought my acting. Now you decide to buy my acting.
I'm all about yes and.
He sent me a gift basket.
No.
A gift basket. Okay, well, let me just say this. I agree with you. I'm not going to argue with you because that's what you want. But the other thing is, and what I'm learning from therapy, which is also true, is that you can't change the past.
Right.
And I'm talking about, I learned this, not and my therapist, who I think is the greatest, but I've learned that one of the reasons why I can't let this behavior go is that I'm constantly trying to fix it in the past, justify it in the past. So in a certain level, all of that stuff, like getting in an argument with someone, I already know in a way, and I probably know I should avoid it.
Right.
But there's another part of me that says, I have to learn. There's another part of me that says, I think I could do this well.
Yeah.
It could be more fun.
Right.
And so I think that's what I'm going to shoot for, is just trying not get upset ever.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think there's a way to do it.
Or get upset in a roasty way.
Yeah,
that works.
It's just the way you do it right now is so raw, so that you don't bring either of those things to the table. You know, you don't bring your pure,
Your Honor,
you don't bring your pure funny, and you don't bring your pure intellect.
Well, here's the thing. I look back at there's a couple of issues here. First of all, there's never been something I've done in my life where it's supposed to be, it's your thing. You're allowed to do it any way that you want.
Right. And
yet people get so, and including me, people get so upset about what people are doing.
Well, but you broadcast it into by retweeting and answering people. Everyone is watching your fight. So therefore now we have reason to judge you.
No, that's not my argument. My argument is with people thinking these kind of arguments. You're a comedian. Why don't you be funny?
Right.
It's like I don't think of. I couldn't continue on Twitter, which would make people happy, if I just thought of it as I'm going to do jokes on there. It would be totally useless to me, although I like to write jokes on there.
That's kind of what I use it for, so I don't see what the problem is.
Well, because sometimes I'm angry, and I am angry. I just say something in a way that gets it out,
right,
that works.
Yeah, no, I think you're entitled to do whatever you want. But.
Right, but I think that I'm saying inherent with the setup is that if you kind of buy into, like, if I made a rule tomorrow that I was going to do like a Colin Quinn type thing, who I think is hilarious,
right?
But I love him. It's hilarious. He's figured it out. This is how he does Twitter,
right?
Okay, but I can't do that,
right?
I just can't do it. So my whole thing is, can I be myself, even though these people are saying do this, do that? So sometimes it's a mundane observation. Right. Sometimes it's anger. But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to avoid. I look back at anything a week old, and I wish and then Mark Maron said this, and I know I've said it before. Everything from 6 months ago. I'm going over material from Montreal. Yeah. Almost all of it is just garbage. But there are good jokes.
Sure.
But when I'm coming up with those jokes, I don't think this tweet I'll do a joke. That tweet I'll do a yelling. I'm just prompted.
Right. Well, but either am I.
Oh no, I'm not saying you.
But
I don't see you with a big skinny suit on and red shoes.
Good.
And a clown nose.
Excellent.
And going. Wah, wah.
But I don't do as much stand up as you either. So I'm not. It's just as easy. The way that most of my jokes are going to get into the world is that way.
I don't see it that way. I see it as its own art form. So, like, you are yourself on Twitter. You're more, quote, successful at Twitter because...
I don't think so, because you have, like, 80,000 more followers.
Forget about the amount of followers. I'm just saying, like, from the feedback that I'm getting from people... See, I have a thing. I deep down believe there's something wrong with me, like, from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for me to think I'm obnoxious, and that's a whole... We don't need to get into that kettle of fish right now. But when I see you on Twitter, it's like you're funny, you're insightful, and you're also not going, get the fuck out of here, you robot, or whatever it is.
Right.
That I would say to people when I've gotten really upset. I've been embarrassed at some of the things I've said because I'm so angry about it, and I look back and I regret it, and sometimes I don't, or sometimes. So all of that, I think one day does have to maybe will go. I hope not go, but I'll be better at it.
See, that's the thing, is that's as a friend, this is like aside from Twitter spectator, as a friend, it's like, I don't understand the instinct of inviting negative energy into your life when you're affected by negative energy in a negative way. Like, some people get off on the fighting and it amuses them, and they aren't worried about what people think of it. It's like, fuck them, and this is fun for me. This is sport. But you don't do it like sport. You do it you do it as if you're doing it for sport, but then you take it personally when it comes back. And I don't understand the draw of that.
I think you
get cranky and pissed off.
I think you can see the draw of it, because what I'm trying to do, it's actually what my root problem is like, if I believed in God, my father didn't believe in God, I would feel stupid because he would say things to me that I would make me, he wasn't trying to do it on purpose, but I could easily feel like these feelings I had that are spiritual feelings are that somehow it's not smart to have them.
Oh, and is this true? Is this your father was a devout atheist?
Well, he wasn't. No, I mean, my father actually couldn't.
See, now we're having a breakthrough.
my father couldn't, like when I told him about new atheists, he couldn't stand them.
Right.
And he would go to my mom's Quaker meetings and he had no problem. He was a nice atheist.
Right.
But he was agnostic leaning towards atheist. But the dynamic between my father and myself, it wouldn't have mattered what the topic was. I felt like
he was belittling.
And regardless of, but not even because he was like, hey, he wasn't like walking around the house like Rickles,
right,
trying to get us.
Right.
But the nature of like how he would say things like made me feel, or I reacted that way by feeling like it wasn't smart. Now, I took that out in the world, and that's why I get very, very upset at these people. Okay? Like these new atheists.
That's a piece of the puzzle for me.
Right. But so in other words, like if someone, it does on a certain level enrage me when someone says your mother's ideas are stupid.
Sure.
Even because she's a Quaker. I do get enraged because.
But you put your mom out there.
But
an example of, you're making fun of my mom.
That's right.
Right. So now your mom's in the conversation when no one else put her there.
Yeah, but you see, in a certain level, that's what they want to accomplish. I'm not saying you're saying this, but their whole thing is they're saying, we're not saying the people are bad. We're saying the ideas are bad. Well, you can't separate the ideas from the people.
Right, but you're throwing your mom out there for sacrifice for them to judge as opposed to your beliefs, for example.
I'm not a member of a religion, really.
Yeah.
I'm culturally Jewish. Right. I'm not a member of religion.
No, but
I'm defending someone who is a member
absolutely.
of religion.
I saw an interview the other day with Randy Newman, who was it was a couple of years old, but it was like for the Library of Congress, and they asked him about if he's religious, and he's like, no, but I don't take the topic lightly. Which is kind of how I am, which is to me, there's a place for religion. It's not in my life, but there is for a whole lot of people. And I think it's a blessing,
right,
so to speak, for them, that they have it, that they have faith, and that it gives them strength in times when they need it. To attack that is bullshit,
Well, yeah. And so the thing is this, beyond the unpleasant nature of the interactions, if you looked at it from just like, it's almost a shortcut to me. If I say, my mother's a Quaker, and then if they come back and say anything like this, there's something wrong, then I know these people are not reasonable people. Now, I think someone like you would say they're probably not reasonable people, that I'm attracting these people who are unreasonable, and then I'm having a further unpleasant thing with them. But I don't really know exactly what's happening sometimes because I never knew a lot of these things about people. All I'm saying is I don't start out – if I start out saying I'm going to get in a fight, I probably wouldn't go on at all.
Right.
I think it's like I have a naive or I'm doing things unconsciously or not unconsciously, but it starts to ramp up awfully quick.
Right.
And then but I don't think I'm doing it – I don't think my goal is to get into an argument. When I go on Twitter, I'm always usually in a good mood. Hey, let's see what's happening.
Right.
Or I'm upset about something politically.
Right.
But I plan to say something, almost always plan to say something funny because in general, I try and do that.
Sure. Yes. You default to funny generally.
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows if it'll get better? But the only thing is, let me say it this way. Maybe this will be the easiest way that I can convey. The only way I'm able to get better right now, and I'm not saying you shouldn't point out my behavior. I think you should.
The reason I'm talking about it really is because we said last week we were going to talk about it.
Oh, God damn it. I forgot it was a bit. But the only way I'm getting better in life is to let the past go, like basically say, and it really is okay going forward.
Yeah.
So, and then what I do is I say, don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the laptop.
Right.
If I get into an argument with myself, it starts to get the part of me that wants to defend my behavior going.
Right.
And then who needs it?
Right. And I think that's, I think it's probably, if you're starting from a place where you basically don't like yourself.
Easy. I can say these things.
No.
Is this your new debate? Is this what they taught you at NYU debate school?
I think if we roll back the tape, I think you actually said it. So
you're telling me now. Here's what I'm hearing from you, Andy. I get now that you don't like yourself. And so, I don't know, I forgot the thread. I'm
just saying that it's easy, if you're coming, I come from a place where I feel basically okay about myself and I can be talked out of it. You know?
Right.
Whereas if you're coming from a place where you basically don't like yourself, it's just people agreeing with you.
Wait a second. You think you could be talked out of what?
Out of liking myself, easily.
And so two people who have that problem decided to do a podcast together.
Exactly.
Two people who...
But I'm saying you're coming from a different angle. I'm coming from... I like myself basically, and someone can easily talk me out of that. So I hate myself.
I see.
And you're starting at I hate
don't
myself,
like myself,
and
right.
someone's coming to you going, "Yeah, you should hate yourself," and they're just agreeing with you.
Exactly. That's exactly.
So there's no one to fight against them internally.
That could and this podcast, I don't want to get it meta. Is that what meta is?
No, not really. No.
I don't want to get
your act is meta.
I don't want
the
to say
podcast is sincere.
What'd you say about my act?
It's meta. You invented comedy meta in a lot of ways.
I don't want to say inside baseball anyway. I did not invent it, but please say it again.
You invented meta.
No. There were so many other comics who deserve to be mentioned in the same sentence. Not as good as me.
All the comics who did it after me deserve to be mentioned in the next sentence.
Okay, what was I saying?
You don't want this to be meta. Is this meta?
I was going to say something.
We were talking about, basically you were talking about how we were talking about coming from not liking yourself, that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Coming from different sides of the coin. I start at like...
Oh, yes. This podcast is very hard sometimes because I am... When I first... See, I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like a lecture. But everybody gather around. When I first started doing comedy... For many, many, many years, I would struggle about, is this funny? You know, like, even if I thought I was funny, am I doing it funny?
Right.
Am I performing it? I was so in my head because of my OCD that it took 30 years or 20 years to feel like, oh, this is natural for me. I mostly like it when I'm doing it.
Right.
So this challenges my whole... This thing is like, whenever I start to get in my head about how am I doing listening to Josh, I start to get into trouble unless I say it verbally. And then sometimes even that doesn't work. But it is a challenge in a way. I think that, after 20, 30 years of doing it together.
I think we'll hit a groove probably 2029.
When we monetize this, and when we monetize it, you'll know it.
Oh, you'll know it. You'll be the one abandoning it.
You'll know that it involves an extra step. You know it involves somehow you losing money.
No. People are the only money people will be spending on this is for their
merch.
Their merch that they desperately want.
What do you think people want from us? A thought spiral light bulb?
A thought spiral, that's a natural.
Well, what do do we sign that? What is it about us that is involved in that product? Or is each one shaped, has our face on it?
We are the Thought Spiral brand. It's inseparable, Andy.
Brand. You were the one who sat me down and said, look, Andy, for years I've been obsessed with brands
right.
and with podcasts.
Right.
Just technically. Are you using an ISDN? Let's do this. Let's start it. You even said to me, I hate talking and I hate Friends.
Right. But I meant the show.
Oh. I don't watch Friends like I used to. I have nowhere to go with that. But I will watch Seinfeld anytime it's on.
Really?
Oh, I love it.
I abandoned Seinfeld years ago.
Oh, well, I haven't watched it as much, maybe. I've only seen them some shows once.
I abandoned it when it was on NBC still. I just got tired of it.
Oh, I can't. Well, we're not talking about the last couple of years where they...
Well, yeah. I am
that doesn't
about
count.
The last
doesn't
couple
count.
of years.
Oh,
just
so,
the last 44 episodes.
Oh, are you going to talk about me that way when I'm gone? You're going to say, yeah, I didn't like
when
he was
doing...
doing...
you're here, Andy.
I don't like that condo circuit he's doing.
It's sad.
It
sad.
saddens me. Yeah, but Josh, he has no money.
He's
but it
better
seems
than
like
that.
it's
just
almost
going up to senior citizens, calling them bigots. It's just not cool.
That would be the ultimate burn, is if I get fired from my condo circuit gigs.
It would be.
Because I'm too opinionated with the right-wing
right.
Jews.
It's all Ricky Gervais fans in wheelchairs.
Listen, honey. Listen.
God is dead. You're stupid.
Come here, sweetheart. My father is a Muslim. Hey, all kidding aside, Muslims? Muslims you want to talk to?
Seriously?
They're copying us with the halal. This is starting my new Whoopi Goldstone.
Yeah.
Combining Whoopi Goldberg and then the Goldstone. My new one-man show.
Yeah. Andy Goldstone presents Whoopi Goldberg.
No, where I do like this is what I would do like her show where characters,
your
different characters,
menagerie of old Jew characters.
Old man. I don't a Black Lives Matter. Well, I don't know if that voice should be in there. Black Lives Matter. Now, why am I doing a black voice? I got to listen. I got confused. I wanted to do a stereotypical black voice instead of a Jewish voice, saying Black Lives Matter. Oh, this I have to worry about now? Oh, I don't matter? See, I think you could tell a lot about yourself if your first reaction to children's lives matter. Oh, they don't all matter?
What about me? What about me in my life?
People who have hemophilia lives matter. I don't matter now? I don't matter.
Just because I clot well.
Yeah,
just because I clot.
Because I don't have a problem living?
I'm sorry. Fuck me and my hemoglobin.
That is I see you now as a Yiddish theater guy.
Yeah. I'm Fivish Finkley.
I had to...
Fivish Finkel had him on Later with Greg Kinnear, too.
Was he a great guest?
He was great. Talked about the Yiddish theater. And, he was very smiley, and he's Fivish Finkel. And we did a bumper with Fruit and Fivish. So good you'll forget the Fivish.
I met him on a plane once, and I was going to go and have dinner with him. And I met him on a plane once. I don't know if I mentioned that.
No.
And I was going to... the worst podcast ever. Yeah, it's on Spiral. Test show 5,000.
You are not the man. I'm the man.
I think you've mentioned that. Hey, did I ever talk about the fact that I hate bigots on the show? Test show 15,000. So, Josh,
I'm still having trouble with people.
Josh.
People don't believe in God.
Here's what I did. I drank that Nutris. They shouldn't call it Ensure. They should call it Insure with an I, because that's how much money you need to drink that product. Come on, Josh.
Wow.
That is a great bit of an old man who's complaining about Ensure. They should call it Insure with an I. Come on.
I have to pay my fiber premium.
I don't know. I don't get it.
It's an insurance joke.
Here's my new character.
Tune in, for fuck's sake.
Okay, now for a lot of people say, are we going to continue this Butch Cassidy? Who's the other guy?
Sundance Kid.
Sundance. This kind of like who are the other two guys?
Butch Cassidy and who's the other guy? Really? Are we going to be like Laurel and Line?
Okay, who was Starsky? Who would be Starsky and who would be Hutch?
You would be Huggy Bear.
In the future, Josh and I will be doing. Each podcast will feature us having a new relationship.
Next week, it's Lenny and Squiggy.
I don't remember. You see, you can't yes and me on something where then I have to remember things.
Yeah, well, then it's going to be a long series, isn't it?
So here's the thing. In future podcasts,
yes,
we want you to write to thoughts. What is it called?
Thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com.
We want you to write to thoughtspiral@gmail.com, and we want you to ask you, and you can say to us, what is the favorite relationship that you like Josh and I to have?
Right.
Do you, for example, like me and Kindler? Hey, Josh, that looks nice. Oh, that's a nice shirt. I didn't know Goodwill had a discount department. Oh, Josh, you look good.
No, can I do one now?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Are you going to be doing a guest spot and I'm dying up here? You can just do your actual act.
Yeah. I don't know. Why did I think that was an undying character? Yeah, man. Yeah. So the other way we could do it is, okay, so I could be insult.
So there's me and Andy. Me and Andy is one choice.
Yeah. Then there's Know-It-All Josh.
That's the one you've requested.
How about if I did this? I put it out an ad for a sidekick, and that's the first you knew that you were a sidekick. Right? You think you're a co-host. That's Mean Andy. This is a plot of the Mean Andy show.
Okay.
I take out an ad for a new sidekick, and and you don't even know that you were the sidekick. I don't have anything else. That's the first beat.
Okay.
You should lay the pipe on it.
You think that you could see? You have to understand that I have no pride in this show.
I have to tell you this.
So if you're going to undercut my role, it's
no. This is the thing.
Be, yeah.
I knew you had no pride in the show. I had zero commitment to the belittling character.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for you to maintain with eye contact.
I can't get excited about it.
You can belittle people on Twitter.
I don't even remember
Twitter,
what it is.
It's easy.
Well, all I know is, I really brought it tonight. You know what I'm saying? I think you had moments. There was something about me that I want to get better as a person.
Yeah.
But I just want to be. I want to be able to one up everybody a little bit.
You want to get better as your person, but you don't want to betray old Andy.
No, old Andy. I want to keep him close.
Don't sell him down the river.
No, keep him closer.
Right.
Keep new Andy close. Keep old Andy closer. No, that guy. Let's face it. I'm a weasel.
No,
I'm not a weasel.
You're not a weasel.
Let's face it. I have issues. I'm angry, Josh.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
But now we know that part of it's your dad.
Oh, I'm the bad guy because my father ruined me and it's his fault. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh, I'm wrong because I blamed everything on my father?
No, it's just this week. There's always next week.
My mom, who's alive and ready to be yelled at.
And a Quaker.
And a Quaker.
So don't fuck with her.
Oh, I can't believe it. But now I see what it's really about. It's your feelings about the Quakers.
I love Quakers. They're peaceful people and they make a nice oat.
Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. Why does this sound like the banter you would hear on Antiques Roadshow?
I wish that has a payoff.
I love that show because my father loved that show and my mother loved that show.
That's nice.
And I hope everyone's weeping out there. I like when they go, "Where'd you get this?" "Oh, I found it in the basement, and you know that this is the world's first bottle cap, and blah 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 blah. And it's a Cedric Waxwire, embossed. What do you think it's worth? A pound, $1, $50 million.
Wow.
That's the ultimate antique roadshow.
That's a good episode right there.
Wouldn't you get tired, though, if every object was like that? You want Monty's cookie jar.
Exactly. Sometimes it's got to be a donkey behind the curtain.
Not only was Josh one of the few people in the world who would get that I was doing a Let's Make the Deal reference, he's then only one of the fewer people in the world that would then do a sub-reference to it.
I think they did a donkey on the
They did?
Yes.
But who remembers that?
I don't know.
That's the reason why I wanted to be in business with you.
So to reiterate, please drop us a line at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com.
Why would we make it sound like something people don't want to do? We should make it fun.
Please, on our behalf, review the show on iTunes.
Hey, give us unsolicited advice. And let's see if I learn my lesson from Josh of being... Because Josh is basically saying... He called me up before the show. He goes, "You're not a good person. You're not a good person." I
thought it was nice that I called and said in my daily text that you're not a good person.
He goes, "Look, I'm really mad, and when this asshole comes in exactly 9 minutes late again, with the, hey, how's everything going? 65 degrees, I'm sorry about being 8 minutes late." Or, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm being 8 minutes late."
Let's do the weather on the 5s. Too bad it's 9.
That's right. I'm 8 minutes late. And I'm not afraid to announce it. Okay, that's the last time I can start a sentence and not know where I'm going with it. From now on, the rest of my life, I start a sentence